Well, hi, everybody. Welcome to NAUI's Dive Team Report. I'm your host, Greg Martin. You know, unless you're a brand new diver, there's probably a good chance that you had the opportunity to try a lot of different kinds of gear. I know over the years I have owned some really, really good gear and some that, well, I guess I should have saved my money. More experienced divers, have probably a couple of pairs of fins and a couple of masks in their dive kit. And there's one piece of gear that I don't own, but I've used it before, and I just absolutely love it. And that is a full face mask. And we'll talk a little bit about, the pluses and minuses here in just a minute. But I just recently noticed that OTS has a brand new mask out called the Full Spectrum. I wanted to find a little bit more out about it and pass that information on to you. So we're reaching out this week. Joining us on the podcast is Andy Nelson, who is the head of U.S. Public Safety and Commercial Sales with Ocean Technology Systems. And you've probably seen him at DEMA a time or two, I'm sure.
Yes, sir. Yes, absolutely. I'm there. I've been there the last 4 years. So if you've been there the last 4 years and stopped by your booth, you've probably seen me.
Probably saw him. OTS has been around for quite a while. What is the history of Ocean Technology?
So OTS has been around since the late 80s. It started out with Michael Pellissier and Jerry Peck, and it actually started out solely as a communications company. We didn't have any full face masks when we started. And at that time, there was a big need for the military to have more reliable, intelligible, and better underwater communication, specifically through water. And that's really where OTS started. So Mike and Jerry, they actually started building communications out of their garage. And they built the first communications out of PVC pipe, and Jerry had built a board. Mike was really good with like milling and putting stuff together, and Jerry was more on the electronics side. And Mike had always been a salesman, so he had all the contacts. He knew who to go to. He used to be a Navy diver, and Jerry was a head engineer. So between the two of them, they created their first product, which is like what I said. It was literally a piece of PVC pipe with a microphone, and that they adapted to a mask, and they showed it to the military. The military loved it, and since then, OTS has blown up and started with two guys out in a garage, and now we're up to anywhere from 60 to 70 employees now, and we sell to militaries, to public safety divers, to recreational divers. We sell to everybody, so it's exploded since I started. So it's a really good thing.
That's an exciting story. I do want to talk a little bit about the fact that OTS is known in the industry for public safety diving, especially with the full face masks. And Andy, tell me for those that haven't used a full face mask, what's the benefits?
So there's a lot of benefits. So one of them, which is a huge thing, especially for public safety divers, is communications, of course. When people think of full face masks, they think of communications. So for public safety divers, a lot of them use hardwire. And what that is you have a surface box, and you literally have a wire running down to a diver, which plugs into their mask, specifically an earphone microphone assembly in their mask. And that's, if you picture a landline telephone, that's what it is. So it's the best sounding communications. There's not really anything that can affect your communications. You're just limited to the length of your comm rope, essentially. And then we also have through water communications, which is exactly what it sounds like. It's through water. So there's no line between you and the surface. But there are some factors that can affect intelligibility. It can affect the distance. It can affect basically your listening and transmission. So communications is definitely one of the biggest benefits. That's how we started out, was a communications company. And then there's also the fact that with the Guardian and the Stealth full face mask, the masks don't fog. So we tell people don't spit in it. You don't have to put a defogging agent in it. And the reason for that is every time you take a breath from the regulator, air actually sweeps the visor, then goes into the oral nasal pocket. You take your breath, and when you breathe out, it goes out the exhalation diaphragm of the regulator. So it's really cool. It's like a one-way flow of air. It's like and I always tell people this, it's like a defogger or defroster on your car. So you're constantly getting the cool, dry air. So really cool. Also, with a full face mask, with ours is that you can breathe through your nose the whole time. So for some new divers that kind of have, they don't like the disconnect between only having to breathe through their mouth, you can breathe through your nose the whole time. Pretty cool. You can even chew gum underwater if you want to. So kind of cool. Also, with our full face mask, because we're the only full face mask with a double seal skirt, we fit a huge variety of faces, so there's only one size of the mask, which is really good. We deal with, and this is kind of what I was getting back to about chewing gum, is you don't have to have anything in your mouth. We deal with some wounded warrior programs, some veterans. We deal with people who just can't, with TMJ, people that can't hold something in their mouth. So
Right.
for divers that can't hold something in their mouth, it's a great thing for them. And for people that are diving in cold water environments or dirty environments, it's great because it keeps your face nice and warm and dry. So people that don't like getting salt water in their eyes, cool thing about these is you get in the water, even if you crank the seal of the skirt out to an inch, air is going to blow out and water is not going to come in. So it keeps your face nice and dry. So from a recreational standpoint, that's nice for people diving in cold water environments. And for public safety, it's very good. They're diving in dirty water. They don't want to get, any of that hazardous water or material or whatever it is on their face. So, there's a handful of benefits to a full face mask.
One of the huge things, and you alluded to it too, is the fact that a lot of new divers just are not used to holding a regulator in their mouth. And I know a lot of the new regulators are made out of new materials, composite materials, titanium, things that are really, really strong and a whole lot lighter. Those of us that remember the days of, a lot of the old really heavy steel regulators, I mean, I could pound nails with my old Scuba Pro Mark V. And go back and go diving. It was great. But after an hour-long session or so in the water, my mouth just ached because of this jaw strain. And you don't have that with a full face mask.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, look at the website, if you would. Go to OTS's website, and they're talking right now about something called Full Spectrum. And that caught my eye. You've kind of captured something here.
Yeah, we came out with a new mask. This just debuted at at DEMA last year. A very cool product, and we've actually been back ordered on the black of both the coated and clear lens. But it's been a great product, and so it's called the Spectrum Full Face Mask. And the reason we decided to call it the Spectrum is we wanted it to encompass a wide spectrum of divers who would be able to use this. So we wanted to capture the military diver, commercial, working diver, recreational diver. We wanted to come out with something that was, number one, more affordable than any full face mask we have now, which we did. We wanted to have a full face mask that someone can plug their own second stage regulator into the mask. And that's one of the biggest features of this mask. So if you have your Scuba Pro or whatever regulator you have, you can adapt that into this mask. And additionally, you get rid of that bite mouthpiece, so you don't have to have something in your mouth as well. And then another cool thing about this mask is that you can literally just reach in and pinch your nose. And I know, speaking with some people who have dove the Stealth and the Spectrum, unless you're familiar with it or you've been working with it a little bit, the V block that's in those masks can be a little tricky, especially if you're not working with it or you're going in just for a one-time demo. So with this, it's more familiar to a traditional half mask that people are used to. So it's a really, really cool mask. But definitely the biggest feature is you can adapt your own second stage regulator into it.
That's kind of interesting to be able to do that because, again, I have a number of different regulators, and some I like, some I don't like, and it would be nice to be able to plug my own thing into and not be forced to take whatever the choices A, B, and C are with the local company. So it's really exciting to see that ability. I do want to talk about the coating that you have on this mask. What is the benefit of that?
Number one, we really wanted to come out with it. We saw it on some other masks, and we thought it would look really cool. So number one is probably just the cool factor. But we've talked with some divers, and they said they're on the boat or they've been diving, and they said it kind of takes the glare away from the sun a little bit. But more than anything, it's really just to look cool. But it'll take some of the glare out of when you're diving too.
There is a coolness factor that we all look for. In fact, When I'm at my local dive shop and assisting students in picking out things, and they're looking at masks and so forth and fins, and they're like, I don't know what to buy. And I said, well, first off, what do you think is going to look cool?
Exactly. I mean, and that's half the purpose of diving. I mean, if you're not looking good when you're diving, I mean, why even dive?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, again, it's the Ocean Technology Systems, OTS Spectrum, the full face mask. It is really cool looking, and the ability to plug your own regulator into it. Now, you said you're a little back ordered right now, but I'm assuming that those products are on their way?
Yes, sir. So we came out with a number of black spectrums, and pretty much as soon as we got those in, they were all pre-ordered and sold. So we've actually been back ordered on those. We are having a number of them delivered within the next month, and then after that we're going to have a huge delivery of all the black ones, so we should have plenty. But then blue right now, because we got those in a little bit later than the black, we do have those available. So both blue, the clear and coated lenses we have, and we are currently on this date, we're out of the black and the black spirit coated and the black spirit clear as of now.
Okay. Well, be sure and check with your local dive shop, and I'm sure that they can get things ordered for you. Best of luck with this one. I like this. I've always loved OTS products. And again, if you have never tried a full face mask, please go find a local dealer and ask them if you can jump in the pool with a full face mask, because you just won't be sorry. There are so many benefits to it. A lot of things that we haven't even touched on yet at this moment. But again, talk to your local dive shop about that. And I know that you're going to wind up loving diving full face. I just know it. Andy, best of luck with it.
Yeah, thank you very much. It's been great, and I have high hopes for it. We've been selling them great. People have been loving them. So we're very excited about the product.
Great. And thanks for taking some time and chatting with us today.
Yeah, yes, sir. Thank you very much.
Be sure and check out iTunes and Google Play. Don't miss a single episode of the NAUI Dive Team Report. Love to hear your comments, too. If you want to email me, you can do so. podcast@NAUI.org. And that's it for this episode of NAUI's Dive Team Report. I'm Greg Martin. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you in my full face mask underwater.